Good afternoon. It's your boy Trey Colbeck here for another edition of Harness News Update, September 14th edition. Rearranged the scheduling a little bit this week to kind of line up better with everything going on. I am on right now, and today's episode is a straight preview of the 76th running of the Manitoba Great Western Stakes, one of my personal favorite stake races of my life, one of the biggest and probably most important ones to the racing community in Manitoba. We're live on our presenting sponsor, Harness Link. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, or X, I guess it's probably called now, and YouTube. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment, all the wonderful things you can do on social media. Today's episode is also brought to you by Harness Bid. This is a game changer for the standardbred and racing bloodstock industry, providing buyers and sellers with an easy-to-use online platform that offers global reach, unparalleled transparency, and convenience for its customers with zero commission on every horse sold. Buyers can purchase horses with the confidence that they are getting the best for their value of their money, while at the same time, sellers can list their horses without worrying about hefty commission fees eating into their profits. For more information and to get started, visit harnessbid.com. Oh, now it's time. The field of seven. There's 7 3-year-olds going to battle for the 76th running of the Manitoba Great Western Stakes. $13,579 up for grabs in prize money. The biggest purse since 2010, actually, one of the bigger purses as of late. This is the third race on Saturday's card at the Loop. Post time at the Loop is 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern time. I'll make sure to provide a link when I find it for the upcoming card at the Loop. And because, again, we're going live on Saturday as well. I'll be live on Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern to cover everything. First, we'll start off with our normal show, normal American Sires Stakes recap, set up the Kentucky Sires that goes on Sunday. And then when we get closer to post time at the Loop, I'll start diving into more kind of similar stuff we're going to talk about today. But let's talk about Manitoba Great Western Stakes. So here is the field of 7 up on the screen for you right now. Super Fast gets the rail. Dean Ray and the bike. The 2, Braxton's Boy with Michelle Ray. 3, Palmer's Puddin' with Daryl Mason. 4, Little Bitty Baylor with Richard Remillard. 5, Pixie Chick, Paula Mason. 6, Handsome Dan with Blake Pinnock. And the 7, Baylor Bobby with Clayton Braybrook. They'll all be up on the gate come post time of race 3 on Saturday. Expected roughly post time is 2:40 Central for this race, 3:40 Eastern. All right, the first horse we're going to look at is Super Fast, 3-year-old gelding, sired by In the Iron and Out of the Dam. Hammer's Rainbow was bred by Dean Ray, currently owned by Lorraine Ray and Vincent Sutherland. This pacer's got 4 starts in 2023. Only never raced as a 2-year-old. Only got the 1 win and did it in 2:08.1 at the Loop. That was actually its first race ever. It broke its maiden back on August the 5th on inaugural opening day at the Loop. Won that 1 win, one other top 3 finish. Has earned $2,562 so far. Gets the rail, gets driver Dean Ray. He'll drive for trainer Lorraine Ray, who her stats here are the exact same as she only trains Super Fast this year, so her stats are the exact same. 4 starts, 1 win, 2 top 3 finishes, $2,562 of earnings. Last time she trained a horse in the Manitoba Great Western was actually last year. She trained 2, This Girl Rules and Major Spin. This Girl Rules finished second last year, and with Major Spin finished 4th. Like I said, driver Dean Ray will team up. He's got 32 starts this year, 4 wins, 17 top 3 finishes. Just shy of $20,000 of earnings so far this year. And the last time he drove in the Manitoba Great Western was he was in the bike for Major Spin in that 4th place effort in the 75th running last year's running of the Manitoba Great Western Stakes. They actually opened up at 4-1 odds on the morning line odds. Super Fast and Dean Ray. Not the favorite, but he's up there in contention. Definitely has a shot. Gets the rail here at the half-mile track. Now we'll look at the 3-year-old Cole Braxton's Boy, sided by Who's Your Boy and Out of the Dam, Nitrous Force. Also never raced as a 2-year-old, but this year he's got 6 starts, 3 wins, 5 top 3 finishes. Actually, he's never finished worse than second. And he's got $10,723 of earnings. His best mark time is 2:03.4, which was a couple weeks ago at the Futurity Eliminations. He followed that with a 4th place finish in the first leg of the Golden Boy. He's with his owner and breeder Richard Ray trains him. 38 starts, 6 wins for Ricky this year, 21 top 3 finishes, $32,799 of earnings. Last time he was in the Manitoba Great Western Stakes is when he won it with the filly Millie's Million in 2021. Mitch Ray gets the driving assignment, 51 starts this year, 6 wins, 29 top 3 finishes, $39,476 of earnings. He's looking to get back into the winner's circle as well, because last time he drove was with Millie's Million as well in 2021, when that connection ended up getting the job done there. Braxton's Boy comes into this race, 3-1 odds, second favorite according to the odds makers. Like I said, never finished outside the top 2, so he definitely will be one to look at come post time. And as we're talking about Dean and Michelle Ray, they're up there in the most driving wins in the Manitoba Great Western since 1992, I may add. Dean Ray leads the way with 5 wins of this prestigious stake race, where Michelle Ray has 4. Both have a good shot at winning it this on Saturday. Could definitely add to their legacies here in Manitoba. Don Howlett's got 3rd place wrapped up with 3. And again, this is the top most driving wins in the Manitoba Great Western since 1992. As we look at the training wins, Dean Ray himself's got 7 wins as a trainer. He's not technically training any in this year's, but Richard Ray's right there in second with 6. If he could come get a win with Braxton's Boy, he'll tie for the most training wins in the Manitoba Great Western since 1992. And we're actually going to take our first break of the episode. We'll be back with more. We'll look at horses 3, 4, and 5 up next. And we'll also look at some more stats and stake records and such. But before we go, we'll leave you with the replay of the 2021 Manitoba Great Western Stake. But don't go anywhere. Harness News Update will be right back here on Harness Link.
And they're off in the 73rd running of the Manitoba Great Western Stakes. On the inside, Millie's Million takes the lead. Little bit of a trouble there, Don's Night Owl. Promise Me a Win is now in 3rd on the far outside. Chase My Dust trying to take the lead. Chase My Dust is your leader. Millie's Million now in 2nd. Promise Me a Win is racing 3rd. And Don's Night Owl can see them all. Chase My Dust setting the pace. 30-1 opening quarter. Millie's Million right there in 2nd. Now charging up the front now is Millie's Million. Promise Me a Win the length back in 3rd. And Don's Night Owl still trailing. Now popping out too is Promise Me a Win. Millie's Million's their new leader, but Promise Me a Win's almost 3 wide, chasing them down. They're leapfrogging at the halfway mark. 1 minute and 4/5. Half a mile left to go. It's Promise Me a Win. Millie's Million right there in 2nd. Chase My Dust out too wide again, making another move. Don's Night Owl at the back of the pack, trying to keep up. Promise Me a Win. On the inside, Millie's Million, Chase My Dust out too wide, and Don's Night Owl as they're coming to the 3/4 mark. Promise Me a Win is setting the pace in 1:31-1. Millie's Million boxed in 2nd. Chase My Dust on the outside 3rd. Don's Night Owl waiting patiently for his chance. Promise Me a Win. They're 4 wide coming home. Promise Me a Win Millie's Million on the far outside. Dawn's Night Owl. Millie's Million. Who's going to win this? Millie's Million will hold on. Dawn's Night Owl for second.
All right, welcome back. Before we look at horses draw post position 3, 4, and 5, here's a stake record. Actually, was done in 2018 by Don't Chase, Just Pace, sired by Charms Dragon out of the Dam Major Story. Did a 159 flat time for driver and trainer Dean Ray, who we just talked about before the break. This was again 2018. He Don't Chase, Just Pace won, beat the field of 4. In Glenboro. Paid $13.10 to win, was a minor upset, beat the favorite, Race 'em Up. A little bit of history there as we continue our preview of the 2023 edition. And as we move on, we'll move on to the 3. Palmer's Pudding is the first filly we'll look at. 3-year-old filly. Sired by Armbro Baylor and out of the Dam, Jamar's Tammy. Yet to win in 6 starts. Didn't race as a 2-year-old. Tried qualifying. Was unsuccessful. Came back in a 3-year-old year. Has a second and a third, though, so 2 top 3 finishes. Has earned $1,433 in prize money. Bred and owned by Daryl and Sherry Mason. Sherry Mason actually trains in 38 starts. He's got 4 wins, 18 top 3 finishes. Has earned $22,542. The last time Sherry Mason had a horse entered in the Manitoba Great Western Stakes was actually last year, 2022, with Heartland Sherry. Fortunate 7th place finish in the field of 8. We'll be looking to do a little bit better. Actually, Sherry's got 2 entries, which we'll talk about the other one later when we get to it. But Daryl Mason will have driving duties on Saturday. 27 starts in the bike this year, 1 win, 13 top 3 finishes, $12,213 earned in prize money as a driver. And the last time he was in the Manitoba Great Western Stakes was the same with Heartland Sherry as well in 2022. Palmer's Pudding comes in at 7-1, the second longest shot on the board according to morning line odds. But I think with the post position could have some could make this one interesting. Next, we'll look at the 4, Little Bitty Baylor, another sired by Armbro Baylor out of the Dam, just a bit faster. Another 3-year-old filly has yet to win this year or in her career. Race 2 third-place finishes, though. She's earned $3,018. She was bred by Daryl and Sherry Mason and Paula Mason, currently owned by Sheila Annis. Trained by Aiden Taggart. He's got 16 starts this year as a trainer, 2 wins. He has 11 top 3 finishes. He's earned $15,138 as a trainer. Last time he had a horse entered in the Manitoba Great Western was last year with Beyond the Budget. Fortunately, Beyond the Budget finished 8th by a great distance. But with the year Aiden's having, I could see this horse being a lot closer to the top end. He'll have Richard Remillard drive. He's got 37 starts this year in Manitoba, 5 wins, 25 top 3 finishes. And the last time Richard Remillard drove in the Manitoba Great Western Stakes was in 2015 with Royal Relf. The duo of Remillard and Royal Relf finished 5th in that race. Now we'll move on to the 5, Pixie Chick, another 3-year-old filly, sired by Armbro Baylor, and out of the dam, Miss Tinkerbell. She's got 7 starts this year, has a win, 3 top 3 finishes, has earned $4,662 in career earnings. That one win comes in the time of 2:07.1. And this is another horse trained by Sherry Mason as we look at her stats quickly again. Already went over her once, but 38 starts, 4 wins, 18 top 3 finishes, $22,542 in earnings this year. She was last year's with Heartland Sherry in 2022. Pixie Chick was bred by Daryl and Sherry Mason, currently owned by Daryl and Sherry along with Alan Drainer. And driving duties will go to Paula Mason. This is her first Manitoba Great Western as a driver. She's got 4 wins this year in 23 starts, 8 top 3 finishes, $14,918 in prize money. Pixie Chick and Paula Mason come into this race with morning line odds of 6-1, third longest shot on the board. I don't know, Paula's been heating up. She got her first career win earlier this year. We're going to take one more step back, one more break, but before we do, here's the replay for the 2020 Manitoba Great Western Stakes. Don't go anywhere. We'll look at horses 6 and 7 when we come back on Harness News Update.
And they're off in pacing. And right to the front end is Follow Your Nose with the Little Beast now taking the front end. Munchie Chris is in 3rd. Baylor Out Babe 4th. Two Shoes 5th. Runaway Eris 6th. Sunset Memory 7th. And the trailer, Get It Done Bud. Follow Your Nose is still leading with the Little Beast on the outside at the corner mark with Munchie Chris right there in 3rd. 28-2 for an opening quarter. Follow Your Nose is still leading the way. The Little Beast needs to get on the inside 2nd. Munchie Chris 3rd. Baylor Out Babe 4th. Two Shoes 5th. Runaway Eris is 6th. Back at the bottom there, Get It Done Bud and Sunset Memory. Is going to come for the first time. Follow Your Nose still leading the way. $59 flat for the first half. Follow Your Nose is still leading the way. The Little Beast is still 2nd, but making a move. Runaway Eris. 3 wide back. Baylor Out Babe. Follow Your Nose is still leading the way. The Little Beast is 2nd on the inside. Runaway Eris now falling 3rd. Baylor Out Babe still 4th. Two Shoes now 5th. 129-3 for the 3/4 mark. Follow Your Nose is now opening it up, coming home. The Little Beast is still 2nd. Making a late push on the outside. Two Shoes with Runaway Eris on the inside. Baylor Babe 5th. To catch Follow Your Nose coming home for the Manitoba Great Western Stake. Follow Your Nose with Don Howlett.
All right, welcome back. Before we look at the final two horses coming out of post position 6 and 7, up on the screen, here's the most tracks that have hosted the event since 1992. These are all fair tracks around Manitoba. For those who aren't familiar, Glenboro held it the most times over since 1992 at 8. Miami and Deloraine, right, have held it twice, each have held it for 6 times. Killarney's held it 5 times, and Minnedosa's held it 3 times. And take this opportunity to thank all the wonderful towns and fair tracks that have hosted not only the Manitoba Great Western Stakes, but racing in general. So because we've been racing around fair tracks for most of our existence, and if it wasn't for these great small towns, I don't know where we'd be today. And this is actually the first time the Manitoba Great Western Stakes is going to be in Winnipeg since 1976. It was held several years in a row from at least 1970 to 1976 at Assiniboine Downs. And this will be the first time it makes its return. And now we'll look at the 6, Handsome Dan, sired by State Treasurer out of the Dam Popcorn. Owned and bred by Fred and Alice Gilbert out of Brandon, Manitoba. 15 starts this year, 3 wins, 10 top 3 finishes, $45,439 in career earnings this year. Put up a lifetime marker this year of 153-2 at the track on 2. Where this horse has probably the most racing experience out of anyone in the field. 22 lifetime starts, 5 wins, 15 top 3 finishes. Has been racing at Century Downs, track on 2, Fraser Downs, has had drivers like Brandon Campbell and Kelly Horton the bike. Definitely one of the ones to watch out. Comes in at the race at morning line odds at 2-1, the favorite. Also is trained currently by Trevor Williams, one of the top trainers in Manitoba over the last few years. 65 starts this year, 36 wins, 53 top 3 finishes, close to $100,000 in earnings as a trainer. Last time he had an entry in the Manitoba Great Western Stakes was 2021 with Don's Night Owl. Trevor will give the driving duties to the current top driver in Manitoba, Blake Panack. Blake's got 60 starts in the bike, 38 wins, 50 top 3 finishes. He too is just shy of $100,000 in earnings this year as a driver. He drove last year in the Manitoba Great Western Stakes with Sassy Libby. He'll be looking to get the win here on Saturday with the morning line favorite, Handsome Dan. And last, we'll look at the 7, Baylor Bobby. Another Armbro Baylor sired gelding out of the Dam Bubbles Promise. 5 starts this year, 1 win, 4 top 3 finishes. Oddly enough, comes in as the long shot on the board at 8-1. I think that's absurd. $6,429 of earnings. 205 was its 1 win, which was actually the first ever race held at the Loop. This is another one trained by Aiden Taggart. He's got 2 entries in here with Baylor Bobby and Little Bitty Baylor, the 4 we talked about earlier. And he was last year's Manitoba Great Western with Beyond the Budget. Aiden will be looking to get a big win here. And this for Baylor Bobby will team up with Clayton Braybrook. 45 starts this year, 23 top 3 finishes, $34,326 in career earnings. This is first time driving the Manitoba Great Western since Tammy Blue in 2017. Baylor Bobby was bred by Daryl and Sherry Mason and currently owned by his trainer, Aiden Taggart. And that is your field of 7 going in the 76 Manitoba Great Western Stakes Race 3 on Saturday at the Loop. Oh, I'm pretty excited for this one. But real quick, another fact here. Take a look here. Maybe you've noticed a lot of the horses in this race are sired by Armbro Baylor. Actually, there's 4 of them. These 4. Palmer's Puddin', Little Bitty Baylor, Pixie Chick, and Baylor Bobby. And why is that significant? Well, Armbro Baylor is one of 3 stallions to produce 3 winners. And if one of his 4 on Saturday win, he'll be put with the all-time, since 1992 anyway, the all-time stallion to having offspring win this race. So keep an eye on that. Armbro Baylor is producing champions here in the Manitoba Great Western Stake. All right, now here are my picks. Here's my brief picks. I'll go over it a little bit more on Saturday's show, which I'll talk about the setup and everything for that in a little bit. But here are my picks. I'm going to go with the 2, Braxton's Boy, coming in at 3-1 morning line odds. Gets kind of an inside track with the 2-hole. Michelle Ray, who's been doing pretty good. Richard Ray, who has a lot of wins in this stake race. So I'm going to go with the 2, Braxton's Boy. For second, little bit of a long shot pick here, Baylor Bobby. I think Baylor Bobby could get the job done. Teams up with Clayton Braybrook. I think this horse has a lot more to offer than 8-1 odds. I don't think it deserves to be the longest shot on the board, but I will see how this one finishes. And for third, I'm going to go with Handsome Dan, coming in from Alberta and BC, doing a lot of racing out there. Teams up with Trevor Williams and Blake Pinnock in this one. Blake should have this one in a good position. I'm just thinking for a price, we're going to go 276 in the 76th running of the Manitoba Great Western Stakes. And I want to thank everyone for joining me today. It's been great to do a little bit different of an episode where I get to cover just one specific race that's really important to me. I had the honor of calling 3 of these great races, the 72nd, 73rd, and 74th. No, 73, 74, 75 editions of this race in Miami. And it's been a great time. And I think this race should be one to keep an eye on Saturday. We're live on our presenting sponsor, harnesslink.com. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment, all the wonderful things you can do on social media. And this episode is sponsored by Harness Bid, the game changer in the standardbred and harness racing bloodstock industry. For more information and get started on that, check out harnessbid.com. And the USTA has always been a sponsor, has been sponsoring us, sponsoring the show as lately. Usually I put that on the U.S. Sire Stakes action. Didn't have any of that to talk about, but thank you to the USTA for sponsoring the show. I'll be back Saturday. So I've changed the schedule up a little bit. I've mentioned a few times. Today is Thursdays. I'm going to do back on Saturday, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to go live. The beginning of the show, I'm going to do the normal Sire Stakes recap action, kind of dive into the Kentucky Sires final that goes down on Sunday. And then when we get closer to post time at the Louvre, I'll go live to talk about the Manitoba Great Western and go a little bit more into depth about my thoughts on that race. As well, I'll have picks from others to talk about and a lot more going on and instant reaction to after the race. So come back Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central for that. On behalf of everyone at Harness Link, I'm Trey Colbeck, ace behind the scenes. See you Saturday. Bye-bye.